Robin Hoffman. I'm a public artist here in Charlottesville, but right now I'm at the Goochland drive-in movies. I am so excited. This is my summertime ritual. I need to go to a drive-in every summer or else I don't realize it's summer. Of course, right now it's the fall. And I actually am very excited because, you know, the leaves change and things look really beautiful. And people are going back to work or not, and school or not. But hopefully, you know, everybody will participate and we'll all be safe to go back to things by Christmas at least. Anyway, today I wanted to really talk about portraits, because portraits, or as you know, notoriously are a way of defining how you are at the time that you are. In other words, why did we have people doing portraits? Why did Obama get portraits that were not conventional, that seemed much more contemporary, which was amazing that they did that, because they wanted to show that there was a change in the way people are portrayed. And the artists who were very specific about that understood that context. Like notoriously Western, Eastern, you know, Asian, different countries had different aesthetics in terms of what they would provide the artists with in terms of context. But that's not always the case anymore, which is really lovely that we're changing the way we see things, but also it gives us a history of things. And so, for instance, this is an artist who did this montage of portraits. And this is Barry Kite. He's Chicago born. And in here, you can see Gertrude Stein. You can see Frida and Diego Rivera. You can see, you know, different artists depicted in the portraits or photographs at the time of their evolution or their time of making art. And the context in which they were shown had to do with what they were expressing. So, for instance, Gertrude Stein was all about free association writing, and that has really, it's what we do with texting, really. And then here is another portrait, which is also something, it's really cool, that I just thought of. It's Ernie going down the Rio Grande with a bunny rabbit. It's a portrait, it's not conventional, but yet it tells a story about the time when I did it. And then, of course, there's other portraits I did. This one is really weird. This is 2004. I was watching something on MSNBC about 4 people who were getting lost on Mount Hood. And they went into a storm and they perished. And I was watching it. And while I was watching it, I was doing a portrait. And that's how I felt like I looked at the time. But this gives me sort of a timeline of what happened and how I felt at the time. So it's really important that we do these things. And I want to show you one last thing. I did this portrait of the Clintons. This is before Bill Clinton admitted to having, you know, not so, you know, what he did in the White House with another woman and all that. But I felt like that's the way the family looked when they first got hired to officially to be our presidential family. And so, and this is on ceramic, so I can't really destroy it. But that's an image from 1996. of how I felt about the Clintons, you see. And so ceramic is, of course, baked clay, and it doesn't go away. It's not recyclable, baked clay. Once it's baked, it's forever. Like all our toilet seats, everything are forever. Okay, so, but anyway, I think that's it. What I want to say is, you know, you can do caricatures in drive-ins. You can do caricatures anywhere. You can do portraits anywhere. And if you do, I feel like you're setting a tone for something that you'll be able to look at 20 years from now, 10 years from now, how you were. And it actually gets defined by your drawings, like what you consider for your materials and that sort of thing. Like whether or not you use crayons, or if you use magic marker or Sharpies or whatever. That's the context of the time. It's materials of the time. And you'll be surprised as you look back at the portraits and why you did the portraits, or what you considered was important to make. Oh, and how, oh my goodness, what a surprise. There is Denise Tarver and Nikki, two fantastic artists from Charlottesville, just right here at the drive-in. And we're just like enjoying ourselves, right? I mean, what are you gonna say? This is like so amazing. Well, thank you guys for coming. What are you doing over there, Denise?
Enjoying summer.
And are you doing any portraiture over there?
Not right now, although you've definitely opened my creative juices to get those flowing for some new portraiture.
And how about you, Nikki? What are you doing?
Hey, Robin. I'm just hanging outside. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you guys are like the commercial kind of art scene, but also you know, you're a member of Charlottesville community in a lot of ways. You participate in a lot of events, and you have families that also are affected by the times that we're living in and all that sort of stuff. Denise, do you have family that are going back to school or anything like that?
I do. I've got one that's holding down the fort in a dorm down at William and Mary, and I have one that's doing his best to study online upstairs.
And how about you, Nikki? Are you having to do work or anything from remotely, and how's that working out?
I am. I'm full remote right now until the end of the year as we know it right now. I work as a digital lead for Custom Ink, and so it's been pretty tricky trying to do the same tasks but at home.
You know, it's interesting because I have a cousin in San Francisco, and she's a little older than me. And I want to say she has worked all her life, but she lives in San Francisco. And she did most of her work right next to a houseboat neighborhood. And when I visit her, I said, really, Emily, you're at work? Come on. You know, and then like she'd be in the redwood forest and that sort of thing. So I think this is kind of, what do you think, guys? You think this is a kind of a different take on like what your environment could be like here?
I think there's definitely some perks to being at home, like staying in pajamas all day.
I'll agree with you on that one.
I also was talking about like the different depictions of portraiture and how we are trying to really depict the way our environment looks. I mean, our outside of our Charlottesville, taking down the old statues and hopefully putting up some new nuanced more humanized types of things. Have you guys thought about that at all? Like, what would you like to see? Like, if you're walking down the street, and then all of a sudden, would you like to see something pop up like a drive-in movie theater?
I know how I felt when the Art in Place program started years ago, and how it was just so encouraging. It was nice to drive down the road. I don't even know how many years ago that was, 15, 20 years ago. But it was just nice to go through town and see all of the new art that was going in different places. It's something different to look at, something positive, something beautiful, something to make you think and wonder and imagine. I would love to see more encouraging art around town. Charlottesville has a great art scene. We have people that truly love art, different kinds of art. It's not just your everyday. It's, sculpture, it's oil painting, it's portraits, it's all kinds of stuff. We have great artists that are doing the found art. Just being able to create that. I would love to see something depicted of what's going on now, so that those generations to come will know what it felt like to go through these times. I had a student graduate from high school this year. It will never be like that, hopefully, ever again, to go through your senior year in quarantine. But also, everything going on with racial tensions and equal rights, and just COVID, what a pandemic is like, how a pandemic affects everyone, and what can we get that's positive out of all of that? Where can we find light? I would love to see something depicted like that, because that is our portrait. That's the portrait of who we are and in the times that we're living in right now. I have this great mask that I wear right now. It's sequined out, and don't get me wrong, it's got the nice N95 filter on the inside that's, it's washable and interchangeable, but it gives a little personality. We're going to be wearing these masks for a while, so we might as well look good while we're doing it.
I think right now we're just at such a time period where I think we need art more than anything. Especially I think about, that art installation in place in Charlottesville. I think we could really vamp that up. I think about, the murals that Richmond has, and just like imagining that our walls could be just like that. And even the installation of these things, you think about, it's all outdoors. These are things that are community things, like, the Ix Art Park, being outdoors and painting and putting these sculptures up. That's still building community in a safe way.
I have to say, you guys aren't really a surprise guests, because I know both of you now for a little while. Denise, I had my art in your gallery, and so I was totally gassed about how many people like you said, it was so eclectic. It was so wonderful. It was format. You had professional people hanging, framing, blah, blah, blah. And it was very light area too. All your considerations were amazing, and I don't find that a lot here as much as I'd like to, where I feel very free about what I'm showing, and then it actually gets to be organized and all that. And then the COVID hit, and we had to close down and all that, and we're kind of waiting for everybody to cooperate with safety. But what I want to say is that that's very unusual for me to. And can you tell me a little bit about why you had such a idea of getting? How did you get all these artists in one place?
I know what I like, and reaching out to artists and saying, "Hey, look, this is what I like. This is great. This is the feeling that it evoked." we can, we find in a lot of galleries, especially here in town, pictures of a hydrangea on the wall. Hydrangeas are beautiful, and there's a place for all of those things. For me, I was looking for art that invoked thought, that invoked feeling, that inspired you, that made you want to look a little bit deeper to find something. I wasn't just looking for something that we could go to Michael's and pick up, as a print really quick, just something that was just art in passing. I was looking for art for thought. So when I told people that, they were said, "Oh, wow. Okay." I've been looking for a place like that. I've been looking for somewhere that would understand me, that would just accept me, that didn't want to put all of these boundaries on, what I can produce or what I can submit. And from that, I got amazing pieces of art from people from all walks of life, from all over the country and actually internationally. But it also inspired other groups to say, "Hey, we would love to work with you because obviously you're not putting yourself in this box. We would love to partner up." So we're very hopeful that in the very near future, we'll be able to bring it back to Charlottesville and allow so many more people to come in and experience art the way it should be, invoking thought.
And it was, to me, it felt very much inviting and welcoming. And the same with Nikki and I. We met online through the, I sent Nikki an email. I forget how that happened exactly, about how I wanted to start a hemp fiber business material. And then Nikki, because of the COVID, had time to look at her emails. And she said, "Oh, this sounds interesting." And so for about, 6 months already, we've been on Zoom, trying to get Denise on there, trying to get Maria Parker on there and all that. And then we actually met a fiber material hemp facility in Elkton, and we were like, "Oh, here we go." What do you think about that, Nikki?
Oh, I am beyond excited, honestly. I think that's just like the kickstart we really needed. It's just super inspiring. And the fact that they're, really backed behind our idea as well, it's just like another community building aspect. Like, it's just doing meaningful work, honestly.
But I mean, it's so much more, it's almost the same as what Denise is saying in terms of how you approach the new industry, right? It's like your idea, first of all, you're the business planner, you're the CEO, because I don't want to be the CEO because I'm not going to do all that. I'll just be the employee collaborator of the agency replenish team, which is ART in the acronym. And it's really, the sole purpose of it is to start to get people to start looking at the earth and replenishing it, not taking all the resources out. So everything you make now can be from a hemp plant, everything. And, but Nikki, you're young. Why would you even want to care about that?
Well, I think that it's the most important for the youth to care about it because that's the future. So, I mean, and I wouldn't consider myself young, but I definitely feel like, I think that there's definitely a paradigm shift in our youth thought on that.
And I think that that is the reason why artists exist, because we have a process. Like, to be able to make something, whatever it is, if even in this pencil, music, whatever you're doing, it's a process. So you get up in the morning, the process could be, drinking your coffee or whatever you do, and, and then, it's a process. Then you don't just like put out an innovative, creative product. But at the same time, you, as the years go by, from the time you're a kid, you're looking, you're observing, and you're feeling, the sensitivity of an artist is very necessary. Like how artists are appreciated, how they're respected for what they know as much as any other professional should be, is very important for them to be able to collaborate and to be able to listen and to be able to deliver a creative product. And so I'm very excited about both of you being so in tune. And here we are at the drive-in, and I just want to say that this is so much fun because this is my favorite thing. And you guys are just like so on board with a lot of my favorite things. So I guess what I'm also saying is I think the reason why I had the subject of portraiture, because I really feel like at the time that you began to decide that you're going to be artists, that you're going to use that genre or that medium or that process to be able to talk about your messages. Do you see now more than ever a specific role that people are using you for, or that you see you're more in tune with to be able to generate your ideas? Because I certainly have thought of different ways in which to project my ideas and to be able actually to get paid for what I do. It's that I'm taking on a different role than I was before the pandemic, and it's because that's how I am. I roll with the punches, so to speak. That's how I've always been. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody can adapt to every situation and then somehow get paid. So do you find like people around you having a lot of difficulty at this time?
I think that's something that the three of us have in common. And it's not necessarily something that you find in everyone. But I have been pleasantly surprised in the gusto that I've seen in so many people that have decided that they're not going to just lay there and, wait for help to come. There's, a lot of families have been out there like, okay, I was in the restaurant industry, those restaurants shut down. Well, I guess I'm in the, letter delivering business, or I'm going to go, work the census. I'm going to go, work in somebody's yard. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to, they'll find something. People have been, creating their own businesses lately, whatever you can do from home, whether it's just sewing masks, and then putting those up for sale. Nikki, I know you can agree with me. You've probably seen a lot of those like on Instagram and things like that, where people just started their own mask making businesses. I mean, instead of, opening up a gallery space for people to come in and be inspired, it's more of finding the right outlet online, so that you can reach those masses and really tying into those resources that I have. So that's definitely been something different. As you said, I also do travel, and just how that's changed so much, for me. And, those who are, more financially secure, I see them, spending a lot more time with their families. I have friends right now that are living in their RV in the Outer Banks. They have a beautiful house out in Crozet, beautiful home, but they can, you can just live at the beach in your RV because, kids are out of school or they're on virtual school. You can show them the country from your RV. We wouldn't necessarily have those opportunities, to spend time with family and that sort of thing. So it's just making the best of what we've got. And I think that's one thing that us three women have in common. When, something's thrown at us, we're just going to say, okay, we got this, and take it as it comes. We, like you said, we, go with the punches. We just go with the flow of things.
I believe that is because of your love for your families, for your idea of what community should be based on. And I just want to show you what I did while we were talking. I made a portrait of us. Ta-da! So this has been lovely. We have to have a part 2 and go to another drive-in. But for now, I guess we can just say goodbye, and we love you very much. Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
I love it when you call me señorita. I wish I could pretend that I didn't need you. Every touch is ooh la la la. It's true la la la. Oh, I should be running. Oh, you keep me coming for you.
Then in Miami, the air was hot from summer rain, sweat dripping off me. Before I even knew her name, la la.